Grand Risings. Welcome to Miss Grace in the morning. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace. I'm here 3 days a week where we talk about politics, law, life, drama, God, and everything above. But what we do, we talk about it from, how can I say, a holistic perspective, a humanistic perspective. If you don't know, I'm a separatist. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. But what that means is that I separate from the BS and I choose righteousness. So today, what we're going to be talking about is Trump, China, and Russia's relationship. As the notifications go out, we're going to start getting getting in depth today. This is what we're going to do because I know a lot of people are confused because I was confused. I had to figure this out. I was like, wait. I thought Putin and Trump was good. I thought Trump was loving on Putin and everything that he do. And now it looks like we're having some issues. If you haven't heard, most recently, Trump has ramped up his path to being, how can I say, receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. He has ramped it up by now increasing tariffs on Russia and China. So we're trying to figure out what is going on. Why are these people fighting? Why are the girls fighting? And what does that mean for us? So let's get this broadcast started. We're going to get into a little bit about their relationship, but I want y'all to look at this right quick. This right here told me everything that I needed to know. When I saw this right here, I knew something was not right. I didn't care what Trump said. And you know why? You know why I said that? Because the look on Putin's face. The thing is that there's a difference between these two men, okay? One is a businessman and one is actually a leader of a nation. Um, uh, when it comes to their approach of leadership, I'm, in my opinion, I look at Putin as knowing his nation, backing his, I guess, presidency up with knowing his culture, understanding, I guess, the status norm for what his people want and, what will help his country go further. In comparison to Trump, I don't believe Trump have any culture or any religion, which despite what many Christians believe, we're going to show the clip in our reels where Trump admits that he knows he's not going to heaven. So he tricked a lot of Christians. So when it comes to culture, I believe Trump does not have that. And when it comes to unity as a nation, I don't believe he has those values as a president. So these people right here that you see, their leadership styles are very, very different. So the face that they put on for us, or Trump put on for us, that everything was A-OK with him and that America, I think was a hoax. And many people saw through that. Trump did a lot of butt kissing, okay? So let's get to it. We're going to move on, kind of get caught up to what's going on, and then we're going to do a flashback. Because the girls are fighting. The girls are fighting this morning, and we need to figure out why they're fighting. So we're going to show various, we have a few different broadcasts to show you, and we're going to talk about it.
Donald Trump putting the brakes on plans to meet with Vladimir Putin in Budapest to discuss a possible ceasefire in Ukraine. He says it could be a waste of time after Russia made it clear it's not willing to freeze the war along current battle lines. Well, that's a major sticking point for President Trump, Ukraine and Europe. Hours after the Budapest meeting was shelled, Ukrainian cities, including the capital Kyiv, came under heavy Russian bombardment, forcing emergency power cuts and killing several people.
So this is just a little clip from CNN. This is actually 1 day ago. Now, mind you, they already had talks a few months ago, And this is basically what happened when it came to Trump and his feelings. Now, what is Aaron Wilson? Let me know where I'm super wrong. Am I wrong about the leadership style of Trump versus Putin? And if I am, please clarify, because I don't think Trump has culture. I don't think that he has us as a multi-cloaked nation in mind in his leadership style. It's more self-preserving. It is more business mindset. And check this, even my son noticed that. He was like, Trump plays this game as though this is a real business and people life is not really on the line. So that is not signs of a good president as a leader. That may be signs for a good businessman who wants to, try to control his environment, build and break partnerships, and just hire and fire people at his will, which deals with no ethics, morals, and how can I say, the belt of unity in the United States. I don't know. Maybe this. Russia and China has their country on lock, so they definitely control what goes out in the free press. But to my assumption, their nation is comfortable with their leadership skills, their leadership style, and the way things has been going. Okay, we're not. So if you have something to add, which is more than just a statement, let me know, because that's what I'm seeing from our president versus Vladimir Putin, and I'm not a fan of neither one, but I knew that relationship was not going to work. It just wasn't going to work. Let's watch this.
Get your word.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. How we got Pastor Darby up here? Excuse me, y'all. That's my favorite pastor. And I went to Pastor Darby.
What are you saying?
She's asking, what if Russia breaks the ceasefire?
What if anything? What if the bomb drops on your head right now? Okay? What if they broke it?
And that's exactly what they did. Mind you, this was a clip from a couple of months ago. This was 5 months ago. So we already know Trump had no control or no real relationship with Putin, as though he was talking about from the beginning. So we will highlight, based on the way things are going right now with Trump and Putin, he may not have any relationship to highlight that. What was it called when they was talking about Russiagate? When the Democrats were going after Russia, waste our tax money with that, because obviously he ain't got no relationship with them. Both sides of this system be digging us a hole. I just wanted to highlight that because I remember the Russia thing. So I'm thinking he coming in and they had some backdoor thing. They got it together. They're calm. They're at least at the level where Russia and China is at, because that's what we're going to talk about today too. Their relationship, because all of the girls are fighting. All of the girls are fighting, and this is a big shit show. I'm just going to be honest. Let's just watch this when Trump goes off on Putin a couple of months ago, because this was when I would assume Trump realized that he cannot control Putin. Putin leadership style is different from Trump, so they don't have negotiation leverage on each other, because Trump wants one thing and Putin wants another thing. And I don't think that kind of falls on the same level.
I'll give you an update. I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Nope.
What do you want to do about it? I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? The fake news, aren't you?
Yo, our president, I'm sorry, he is a hot mess. This is good leadership style. It's funny, it's entertaining, but for real, let's finish listening to our president. He is so funny.
You're totally fake. Any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
Something happened. So he feels like something happened with Putin, that basically their relationship is shutting down. And you know what I think it is, honestly? I think it's the fact that they came to the negotiation table with two different agendas. We have to understand the history between Russia and Ukraine and that land and why they're fighting, because that's what actually Russia wants, is the land that they originally owned. And the reason why they want this land, because it is in direct connection to trade. So if they don't control this particular land and the Ukraine takes over it, just a brief synopsis, if y'all don't know why the girls are fighting, he's afraid that the United Nations is going to come in as a proxy and control Ukraine. And that means that they're going to control the transportation and also everything that's coming in out of the region. So this is why Putin, from what I know from my research, is doubling back to try to get this pieces of land back from Ukraine. Okay? So if you got Trump coming to the table basically saying, listen, we negotiating, and he's trying to get stuff from Ukraine, obviously, because it was confusing me. Like, what are you talking about, resources and things? If you listen to some of the conversation, that's what he was talking about with the Ukrainian president. So he want to solidify getting you resources from that particular region. So it's a win-win situation from him. But we don't know if he's actually negotiating the area that Russian President Putin is really nervous about. That's pretty much what it is when it comes to that region, transportation and controlling trade. That should be at the negotiating table. We don't know what's at the negotiating table, but obviously the girls are fighting and something is not right. Trump says meeting with Putin could be a waste of time as Russia set up attacks in Ukraine. So this is now, we're back to today years old, where they're trying to set up another meeting. Because as soon as they got out that first meeting, you know what happened. I think it was Russia. Putin went right on in and started shooting. Boop, 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 boop. You had Trump on there. It's like, I don't know what's wrong with them. They all crazy. Mind you, they're cousins. And I'm not playing. Biblically, they're cousins. All right? Go look it up. We ain't going to start talking about the Bible. But let's look at this, because Trump already knew that something was going to happen. He knew that this wasn't going to work out. I'm just keeping it real. He knew it. Let's watch this. So let's keep our eyes on this, because this is, again, everybody always throw this out. World War III, World War III. We got so many mixtures of things going on. We just need to be aware. Now, what I don't want to do is prophesy stuff. What I want us to do is be aware of what's going on and try to circumvent it. And that is, one, by not adding to the propaganda and not knowing what's going on. That's why we're here, okay? Let's get through this. We're going to try to make this an hour, because this is kind of deep embedded information that we should have known, that we may have not, related to these three countries, our country and these two other countries.
Some plans to meet with Vladimir Putin in Budapest to discuss a possible ceasefire in Ukraine. He says it could be a waste of time after Russia made it clear it's not willing to freeze the war along current battle lines. Well, that's a major sticking point for President Trump, Ukraine and Europe. Hours after the Budapest meeting was shelled, Ukrainian cities, including the capital Kyiv, came under heavy Russian bombardment, forcing emergency power cuts and killing several people. Stopping the fighting very much in focus at the White House today. President Trump is due to sit down with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte this afternoon. Their meeting coming one day after European leaders agreed that more pressure needs to be put on Russia.
Now, peep, this is more stuff that I may not be able to show you today, but I'm going to tell you this. What was it? One of them went straight to the United Nations right after this beef escalated, and I believe it's China. Let me verify that. It's getting kind of crazy. All right, so if you like what I'm sharing, please hit the like button. Please bear with me. It's a lot of deep information, and I like to be in the studio for this, but we're gonna do it here. And the reason why we're doing it here this way again is because I'm working to get myself back in the algorithm, guys. Again, remember, my page has been severely banned. I have been gang stalked by Democrat activists and more gang stalkers on the south side of Chicago related to Democrats. I have to tell y'all. So this is why we're doing our lives like this. Hit the like button. We're gonna be doing this for a little while, but it's okay. It's gonna get better because I like to share deep, embedded information that y'all may have not found because they hit it or we just didn't put the pieces together. So Trump who avoided meeting with Zelensky. So Putin don't even want to talk to Zelensky. Like there's no real negotiation going to happen. You know why? Because this is a long, biblical, as well, fight. And everybody know what it
Join
is.
this hour as we take a live look over Moscow. This is coming in from EarthCam, and you can see a cloudy day right now. As President Trump says, Russian President Vladimir Putin is hesitant to meet with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky.
You don't want to meet him.
Russia's top diplomat adding that's because the meeting cannot happen until some of Moscow's long-standing demands are met to end the conflict. A lot to discuss as always. Let's bring in a friend of the show here. We do have Brian Taylor, a political science professor at Syracuse University.
We're just going to watch a few minutes of this, not too long. I just want to hear different perspective. Maybe people who can claim to be specialists. And as you see, we share different broadcasts. So I know some of you are Democrat, Republican. Y'all be like, that's right, that's left. I really don't know. I just listen to certain talking points and I kind of put the things together that's going to put the full picture for us. Okay, guys? So mine that I'm sharing everybody's stuff. Every news.
Also the director of the Moynihan Institute of Global Affairs. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us as
Let's
always,
speed this
Brian.
up.
We appreciate it.
Morning, John.
Good morning. Well, first off, I did want to ask you, an in-person
We're going to play a little bit
meeting
faster.
between Presidents Putin and Zelensky. It's something that's been discussed quite a bit. Is it appearing that it is a reality that it could happen in the coming days,
Do it want us to play it?
weeks, or even months?
I don't think Putin-Zelensky meeting is particularly realistic.
Thank you.
The Russians have made pretty clear that they would only be willing to meet directly with President Zelensky if it was a surrender ceremony, basically. If you recall back to when the war started.
Thank you. What it is, what's going on, you said you came on my FYP page, for your page, and it seems like the algorithm is working. Yes, it's working for me because I've been praying and fasting. I've been fighting these people. Just to stop real quick, it's been a real battle. I've been having to get IT specialists to help me figure out what was going on. I'm glad and I'm blessed to be fighting through this. So thank you that I am showing up on the For You page. Thank you, YouTube, because you see I've been fighting the strikes and everything. So I appreciate you for saying that, guys. Thank you, YouTube. I love you. Let's play
Started the full-scale invasion back in February 2022. Putin referred to Zelensky as a drug addict and a neo-Nazi.
Oh,
He clearly
my God. Did you hear it? Oh, you know what that made me think about when he called him a drug addict and a neo-Nazi? Y'all remember that video that they said was AI going around of Zelensky in a little bathing suit and stuff, dancing and all that stuff? Ooh, I'm sorry, y'all. It made me think about Epstein and everybody, because Epstein is not just a United States thing. You know what I mean? This is a multi-nation connections that Epstein had. So I just had to throw that in there. That made me go to the left. Let's finish listening. He done called him a drug addict. Wow. This is bad. Hold up.
Feeling is reciprocated by President Zelensky, who obviously doesn't like President Putin, who launched this massive full-scale war against Ukraine. So I don't see any real prospect for a meeting unless we're at the point where there's an actual agreement ready to be signed. And we're so far away from that right now, I think talk of a meeting is very premature.
And on that same note, I did want to ask you, is there any indication after President Trump met with Putin there over in Alaska and then met with Zelensky a few days later in person at the White House, is there any indication that the war is closer to coming to an end than it was maybe days, weeks, months, or a couple years ago?
No.
To be perfectly honest, no. I don't think there's been a whole lot of progress made.
Pause. I'm gonna let y'all finish watch all of that because we don't watch the full, news broadcast. We'll put all the links at the bottom. But as he said, and I agree, there's no progress made because no one is on the same page. They're not thinking. Everybody's not thinking of the benefit of their nation, and maybe if they are, that'll cause more conflict as well. But I'm talking about humanity-wise. There are selfish, how can I say, agendas that's going on both sides, on all three sides. And I do think, I don't know about Zelensky. We got to go look into him. It's a little weird. He's like a doll baby. Whoever's going to give him the money, he's going to dance. I'm just keeping it real because it's like he's jumping between United States and the United Nations. And that is the issue with Putin. On top of what I told you, the trading, the canal that's next to the land that they're trying to get, which would directly affect Putin's economy, Russia's economy. That's why Russia found it very important for them in China to have at least admirable, and y'all know my tongue is heavy. I'm sorry I didn't say that word right, but admirable, like good relations, even though if they don't like each other, because they're right there at a border. It's Moscow and Beijing, if y'all know. Geographically, as we talk about these things, you look at the map. Look at it because that's going to make you see how the lands are affected by trade too. So that's why they have this like pseudo relationship between Russia and China. And you know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about that too. That is like breaking right now because it's like all hands down, all men, all like basically man for itself. Because there has been issues between Russia and China, and we're going to explain to you why as well. Now, let's move forward. Are y'all getting the idea kind of what's going on here? Now, it's a little weird to me too because Trump did have a long relationship with Russia. Let's talk about it a little bit before we show you another video. Y'all know Trump's wife is Russian. Y'all know allegedly she was a mail-order bride, but I'm going to shut the hell up and mind my business. So obviously Trump has been having connection with Russia. There's some things that we just don't know. And y'all know they were all into modeling, escort, and all that stuff. Epstein. Let me shut up. This is very abstract, but I guess y'all guys need to put these bubbles just on the side. Don't cross them out. Just keep them there, because as the pieces fill up, it's going to make some sense. Something's a little bit weird. So before Trump presidency in 2013 to 15, Trump made various comments praising Putin as a strong leader and expressed his desire to get along very well with him. Presidents are picked. Shut up, y'all. November 2016, Putin congratulated Trump on his U.S. presidency election win. The Russian parliament burst into applause at the news. Why were they so excited? And how did they know about Trump when Trump was never really into politics? And why would he praise him? What would be so good for Trump to be our president? What would be the benefit for him? For them. So July 7, 2017, Trump and Putin held their first official face-to-face meeting at the G20 summit. This is just a background of them. In Germany, the meeting lasted over 2 hours. And Trump asked Putin about election interference. Putin denied it, allegedly. Trump later takes his interpreter notes and instruct the interpreter not to brief anyone. So we did not know about the details of that conversation, but they talked for 2 hours. Following that, in 2018, at another summit, a one-on-one meeting, and it's the Helsinki Summit. A one-on-one meeting followed by the joint press conference generated significant controversy when Trump publicly appeared to accept Putin's denial of election interference over the conclusion of his intelligence agencies. That's when they was going after for Russiagate, using our damn money. But nothing came of it. They always do these investigations, have these meetings, have a big old zoo in the press, in our Congress, in our Senate, and then nothing. Y'all not seeing the like consistent pattern? And I'm talking about Both sides. Let's go. Now, on this continued November at the end of 2018, aiming the escalation of the Mueller investigation, Trump cancels the planned formal meeting with Putin at the G20 summit because that was looking a little shady. At that point, he was like, nah, we're going to have to fall back, cousin, because they looking at us a little crazy. So at that time, Russia's seizure of Ukraine naval vessel, that's when it started, when Russia was just like, bumping, we about to just hit now, because something between them and that past history made Trump say, boom, we about to just get it. And I think they had a plan. In my opinion, when Trump first came in the last election, he was saying that he wanted to separate from the United Nations, NATO, that they were trying to control America and America wanted to be sovereign. That was the same tone that Putin was on at that same time. So that's why they were on the same page. That's why I think where they met, meetings of the mind. Do y'all remember that? So then later on, June 2019, at the G20 summit in Japan, following the release of the Mueller report, Trump is asked if he will warn Putin not to meddle in the 2020 election. Trump, with a grin, jokes to Putin, don't meddle in the election. They over there playing games when they know everybody's meddling in everybody election. And then we have a high probability that our own nation is rigging it against each other. Outside people, our AI, all types of shit. You already know Elon, his son was doing something because he had that in the bag. No, Russia, don't do nothing. When he had Elon out there buying the presidency, allegedly. Let's just put this all in perspective, okay? So this is after the first term, February 2022, just before Russia full-scale invasion of Ukraine, because Russia like, I got America in my pocket, and we both on the same page. I'm about to wild out because Ukraine is about to get bought by United Nations, and I'm going to be cut off. So he's playing chess. He's like, well, let's just see what happened. So then, okay, the full scale started 2020, moving on, 22. Then Trump shifts his tone after the full scale invasion, calling it a travesty. And that this is assault on humanity. So something is changing now. Something is changing. He started to talk a little bit like both sides of his mouth. Now, this is 2022 because Trump knows how to play his role. He'll say one thing 1 second and then straight say another thing the next second. That's why I'd be a little confused about his followers, because I'm like, baby, you hear that shit? Wait, you hear this shit right here. But you didn't hear him say that 5 minutes ago? Short-term memory loss. That's what they done did to us with this. Shut up, y'all. Okay. Anyway, moving forward, let's get to 2024. We're just breaking down the relationship between Trump and Putin, kind of like, in a time frame. Now, 2024, Putin congratulates Trump on his second term. Like, all right, you made it back in there, buddy. We about to do this shit because I'm still whooping on Ukraine because I'm going to get this land, and many people are dying. Many people were it was just terrible out there. Now, 2025, let's bring it up to today years old. This year, 2 leaders held their first phone call in Trump's second term, discussing the potential ceasefire, which Trump calls very good and productive. That was the one that we just kind of just saw. He was like, I don't know what he's going to do. We don't know what he's going to do. If they hit, they going to... And then, I didn't show the video when he came out in the tarmac, like, just don't fucking listen. You remember he dropped that curse bomb? He was pissed because the cousins keep fighting. I'm going to be looking at y'all comments. Give me a second, y'all, because it's heavy. I got heavy information, so we can break this down and make it make sense. Shout out to you, Christy. Welcome. Shout out to Highly Favored. Thank you guys for keeping things going in the chat and, making sure everybody put some respect on everybody's name. Double tap and hit the like button. Thank you. So now we got February 2025. The 2 leaders supposed to have a phone call. Trump's still feeling skeptical because he already know now I can't control him. We're not on the same page. Like, I want to be a leader of the world too, but this guy has different plans, okay? So March 2025 to May, communications continued with Trump, at the time criticizing Putin for ongoing attacks, expressing frustration that Putin doesn't seem to want to ceasefire even after hour-long phone calls in May. Lastly, August 2025, Trump and Putin hold their first face-to-face meeting. That's what you saw when it was on the tarmac, and Putin looking all weird, like he ain't beat. That's what I was showing y'all. Putin wasn't beat. Putin is just here to get what he need, and that's one thing it is to make sure that his region is not cut off. Now, I don't support nobody, but look at that. Look at that face. Look, he like, man, I got to be here for this shit. Because this man getting on my nerves. So we bringing it back up. We getting there. We cooking this morning. We cooking. Hit the like button. We cooking. All right, so that's their first face-to-face meeting in his second term. So the two discussed the ongoing war, but Trump acknowledged that they were unable to come to a census and bridge the gap. So this is where we're at right now. And now Trump is acting like he always act. Now, my Trumpsters, come on, man. Y'all know Russia do guerrilla warfare. Y'all know our borders was open, all these people here. We already trying to get the migrants out. We already allegedly got sleeper cells from Venezuela. Oh, and you know Venezuela play a part in this too, but we're gonna talk about that later. It's like, I was like, oh snap, they connected too? Because China is trying to help Venezuela. Okay. President Trump says he's canceled the second meeting with Putin and issued major sanctions on Putin. This is where we at today. This is how Trump actually responds, okay? But let's play this. Hold on. This is what I meant to play, where people was just confused.
The Trump and Putin summit is
just
over,
like me and
we
you.
still are very unclear as to what exactly happened behind closed doors. So here's what we know. President Trump arrived here, as did President Vladimir Putin. It was supposed to be a situation in which Vladimir Putin and Trump would meet one-on-one, and then they would go to an expanded bilateral lunch with their delegation. That changed almost immediately in the air, right as they were landing. The White House announced that it was going to be a 3-on-3. And in terms of President Trump's team, it was going to be him, Steve Witkoff, his envoy, as well as Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Now, all of them went into a meeting with their Russian counterparts. They were there for roughly 2.5 hours. It's still unclear if they ever had any kind of expansion, although it seemed that President Trump indicated there was no more talks after the 3-on-3. Then they came out to do what they were billing as a joint press conference.
Now, y'all should have knew something was wrong when they had to get an extra long screen just to put the two presidents together after this meeting. The stands was so far apart, and I'm not saying that they don't do this in typical debates, but this right here looking a little crazy, because if everything went well for the 2 hours, they'd come out tired, chilling, right next to each other, like, yeah, we talked about some stuff, we got some stuff, shake hands, and they about their business. Right here told us shit wasn't right. Just something wasn't right. Okay? So we'll share that clip with you so you can see the rest. And now this is Trump response, because Trump, this is what Putin said before Trump did this. Before Trump do these sanctions, this is the difference between presidency response. We're going to watch this because basically Trump is saying, don't make no major moves, baby. You need to think about this before you do anything. Let this commercial play, y'all. Thank you for being here. If y'all like the conversation and the content that I'm playing, it's non-biased. It's like putting the pieces together. You let me know if I'm wrong. I'm going to take a break after I show y'all this so I can go to y'all comments, but we still got a lot to show. So this is Putin. I call him Putin. The cousins, they fighting. Putin, the cousin, Trump, little cousin. Damn, won't you just stop shooting? What's wrong with you? Okay. This is Putin response saying, please, don't move too fast. Don't move too fast.
In our last telephone conversation, both the meeting itself and its venue were proposed by the American side. And I agreed to this. But I expressed my opinion on this matter and said that, of course, such meetings need to be well prepared. It would be a mistake for both me and the U.S. president to approach this lightly and come away from this meeting without the expected result.
I must say that the U.S. president agreed with this, agreed completely, and said that on their part, a number of officials from the current administration would work on preparing for this meeting.
Okay, so what do you mean by prepare? What I'm thinking is that they need to exchange notes of terms before they even meet and do the checklist and be like, hey, this is my 10, this your 10. What you agree? Yay, nay, yay, nay. Let's send this back and forth for a few weeks and then meet. What the hell y'all gonna meet for hours and debate? What the hell going on here? Maybe I'm just a little different. I told you I'm a little efficient when it comes to things. I'm not about to sit in here for 2 hours with you knowing that this is a biblical war. This is years long war. You think we're gonna do it in 2 hours? Baby, we better be exchanging notes for months back and forth, get a paper trail, and remember what you had said. They over here approaching it wrong. I think that's probably what he wants, for somebody to be prepared in that manner, but they're not, clarifying that.
Firstly, there is nothing new here.
See?
Yes, they are serious for us. That is clear. And they will have certain consequences. But they will not significantly affect our economic well-being. In his first term as president, it is well known that President Trump imposed the largest number of sanctions that had ever been imposed against the Russian Federation. Today, they have two aspects: purely political and purely economic. As for the political aspect, what we are talking about is, of course, an attempt to put pressure on Russia. But no self-respecting country and no self-respecting people ever make decisions under pressure.
That's what he had said. I forgot that Trump had actually put sanctions on Russia. And I think what happened to those first sanctions? Y'all let me know. Before we watch this of Trump putting more sanction on him now that he can't negotiate and be the big peacemaker. Let me get to your comments. It says Putin speak English, German, French, China, and Greece. Yeah, he's not built like our president. You know they dumped us down around here. CPI report came in lower today. Markets up year to date. Thank you for the information. We don't need jobs, food. We need a ballroom. We will never see. Exactly. This is the worst time for Trump to be doing that ballroom. We will be talking about that on Tuesday. I wanted to talk about it today, but I said, let me let that cook real quick, because it don't look like the shutdown is coming to an end right away. So we got some more to talk about. We in Europe say to Trump, blah, blah, blah. You know what? This is the worst thing in the world when you have people from other countries. Shout out to you, Brett Clavar, if I'm saying it right, Kluvar. That's sad when we have other countries who are not directly related to us. They have big protests and march against Trump. Got Trump big old floaty things with dildos on his head. And do y'all think that that's okay or normal? I'm not mad at them, because obviously they find a reason to protest in their own country, use their own resources to show us that they support us and that they feel away. Y'all got to think about this. That ain't normal. That is not normal. America needs food, not Russia. Thank you. We have to focus in on us, just like they're focusing on them. And by him doing everything that we've been talking about with the immigrants and ICE and National Guard against us inside of our country, it's making us weak. People are becoming less patriot. That's why I say it's the leadership for me, because Trump doesn't have the same leadership quality as Putin. Because even though they're probably going through the struggle or whatever, I bet you them people sticking the fuck together. All of us is unitedly divided. This is the divided nations right now. We are weak. Weak, I tell you. This is not a good thing. Putin. Stop eating beans. Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to read one more and then we're going to move forward. I just wanted to acknowledge you guys. Christy, blessings. I don't want to be that girl, but I'm well versed in Putin and Trump. I'll be back. Well, let me know whatever you have to say in there. If I'm saying something off, let me know. Add to the conversation. I'm still learning as we go as well. And this history is very deep and intrinsic. Like I said, it's biblical of what's going on between all of us, not just Russia and China, not just United States, in other nations, just like what they talk about in Obadiah. A lot of this stuff is biblical. So let me know what you want to add to the conversation. I'll definitely add it and I'll research it. You know what I'm saying? Because I like to learn. President Trump says he's canceling the second meeting and issuing more sanctions. Let's play this real quick. Hit the like button, please. Thank you.
Welcome back. Secretary Marco Rubio arrived in Israel today as the Trump administration tries to ensure the U.S. brokered peace deal between Israel and Hamas stays on track. The White House is also speaking out against a symbolic vote by Israel's parliament to annex the West Bank. Natalie Brand with more today from the White House.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Thursday as part of the Trump administration's ongoing effort to preserve the peace deal.
I'm here now today because this is a priority.
Hold on, how we get to him?
There's more work to be done and bigger achievements to lie ahead.
Hours earlier,
There we
Vice
go, hold
President
on.
J.D. Vance left the Middle East optimistic the ceasefire will hold.
You see how they add more to it? Don't worry, we're going to talk about Israel and America relationship because they turned rogue on us. This is all a joke too. They already call America Edom. Basically, that's equivalent to the synagogue of Satan. So something is flaring up with Israel and America. So I guess they want to play this. I guess we just had to talk a little bit about it. But I want to hear what Trump has to say about the sanctions.
It's very early, but it's a good start.
But he also criticized a symbolic vote by hardliners in the Israeli parliament to annex the West Bank, land Palestinians want for a future state.
If it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it. The West Bank is not going to be annexed by Israel. The policy of the Trump administration is that the West Bank will not be annexed by Israel.
With momentum in the Middle East, the administration was...
Ooh, y'all know what that means? That means that he's going against what Israel want. Now, please understand that the Palestinians, once we talk about that, they were in that land before these so-called Khazar Ashkenazi Jews came in there to occupy that land. Okay, let's just keep that real. And because they switched the biblical people and made that them, they said that this is my land because we the biblical people. Y'all gotta know about the history between Palestine and Israel. So right now, JB, whatever, Vance is waking up, just like Charlie Kirk was, and said, wait, is that the synagogue of Satan? Let's finish watch this. I just had to throw that in there because y'all know I'm well-rounded around here. Let's go. If y'all know anything about that, put it in the chat.
Russia and Ukraine, but President Trump is no longer planning a second in-person meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin.
A meeting between these two leaders is not completely off the table. I think the president and the entire administration hopes that one day that can happen again.
One day.
But we want to make sure that there's a tangible, positive outcome out of that meeting.
Less than a week after the president's phone call with Putin, new Russian strikes targeted civilian sites, including a kindergarten in Ukraine's second largest.
Do you know this is not just a video? Do you know this is real life? And this is what we want to avoid in America? That's why we have to pick and choose our battles, our talking points, and what we support. This is real. So Putin ain't playing. He's not playing with Ukraine. And this is uncalled for. This is inhumane on all sides. But, you know, also we got to keep in mind that this could be a little propaganda because our news do fuel the agenda they want. So that kind of level us from being too emotional. That's what keeps me from being emotional because I'm like, wait a minute, is this AI? So let's keep this in mind, that some of these things are doctored up, some of them are hyperinflated, but there are things that's going on here that we should be concerned for no matter what side of the tracks we're on. Gonna show them kids toys.
The administration imposed new sanctions on Russia's two largest oil companies, saying Russia lacks a serious commitment to a peace process. Today, the EU also piled on new sanctions.
We waited for this.
Yeah, stupid.
God bless it will.
You know why I say they stupid? Do you know Russia and China already rerouted their oil reserve cells and they stopped buying oil from the United States? Because, you know, in the United States, we hold basically our currency is valued because it's held by the sword and connected to oil. It's basically we the bullies. Our money's not connected to gold and connected to anything. If you know fractional reserve banking, 90% of our money is on the computers. That's why they want to put us on digital currency. And what that goes to say, Russia and China has actually built a currency that's based on gold-backed reserve. That's why other, my brain is going, y'all. Just catch up. Just catch up. That's why other presidents and world leaders was unalived. Campaigns went against them because they wanted to actually back their currency up with gold, i.e. Gaddafi and other leaders. But now these two was able to do it without being unalived, and as well as some African nations are doing the same thing. You have African nations that's supporting Russia and China right now and backing their currency up with gold. Yo, we not winning. So for them to say you got to sanction on sanction on oil, Russia and China like, bitch, we ain't buying from you no more, cousin. We don't even like you. Remember, biblically, we're all cousins. Back to Noah. Set some humanity in these people. Let's go. But that's kind of what's happening. That's why they laughing at us and, we laughing at them, I guess. Not really. But I just wanted to break that down to you a little bit. That's why it probably don't affect China and Russia, because they have a whole new set of way to reroute their gold. Their oil reserve.
Sanctions and said Russia will never bow to pressure from abroad.
See? He said, I ain't
White
scared
House
of you.
Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt also said today President Trump has, quote, grown increasingly frustrated with the lack of progress from both sides.
Yeah, and also the lack of progress on your side, sir, because you have no leverage right now. They let Russia and China build such a good relationship with each other. And they fighting now, too, though. But they let them build such a harmonious relationship with each other that they were able to do what I just said. So we're in a different situation. That's why when I hear my fellow Americans and Caucasian Americans, you can't touch them, they can't touch us, we got this, we got that. And it's because y'all not paying attention what the other people got. So you could just look what's in your pocket, how much money you got, but this got double, triple, and all types of reserves. You came to the party, you wasn't ready, because you got to pay attention to everybody. Trump insults Putin on TV. U.S. gets chilling threats from Russian minister and this confusion. So here we go. This is 2 days ago. Now we're getting up to today. Thank you for being here. I think we're going to be here for like an hour and 20 minutes, guys, because we need this time to break this down, because this junk is so much moving parts that we kind of have to have a better idea of what it is before we can start yelling things and getting political, guys. Get a full picture with Miss Grace in the morning, 3 days a week. Hit the like button. Let's go.
Mr. President, the meeting with Vladimir Putin is canceled or put on hold. Do you know what happened there, and does that affect your decision whether or not to send tomahawks?
No, I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time, so I'll see what happens. But we did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals. They're agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But this one, and I said, go to the line of battle, the battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody take some time off, because you got two countries that are killing each other. You got two countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens. We haven't made a determination. And we stand great. And the people of India, I love the people of India, and we're working on some great deals between our countries. I spoke to...
Why are we in everybody's business?
Prime Minister Modi today, as I mentioned before, and we just have a very good relationship. And he's not going to buy much oil from Russia. He wants to see that war end as much as
Oh, so now he's trying to put pressure on other people to not buy oil from Russia as well. If they have... Hold on. I'm going to do some more research, because I remember I learned something about who had the most oil reserves, and I forgot who has the most oil reserves, but I know if that person who has the most oil reserves actually lower the price to the lowest amount, just run that play for like 6 months to a year, that can actually crash the market for the other individuals who don't have big oil reserves. Let's keep this in mind. America is trying to get into Haiti. I gotta tell y'all this. We have a large unrefined oil reserve that they trying to get. Just to throw that in there. Yeah, we think a lot over here. Hit the like button. Yeah.
He wants to see the war end with Russia and Ukraine. And as you know, they're not going to be buying too much oil. So they've cut it way back, and they're continuing to cut it way back. Since I got elected,
What changed your mind after talking to Vladimir Putin between then and now? Why did you think that a Budapest summit might be wasted time?
Well, I didn't say anything. I didn't say it would, and you know, you never know what's going to happen. But a lot of things are happening on that front, on the war front, with Ukraine and Russia. And we'll be notifying you over the next 2 days as to what we're doing.
Did you hear
a lot of things are happening.
Sanctions.
Yeah, please.
On Ukraine, do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is Putin asking for? Do you still see a chance for a ceasefire? And what is Putin asking for?
I do. It's a vicious look. It's a vicious war. It doesn't really affect us. We sell equipment.
It doesn't, as he said, it doesn't really affect us. And she asked him, what is Putin asking for? And he not even want to tell us.
We sell equipment to NATO, and NATO gives it to Ukraine, but we don't pay anything anymore. Biden spent $350 billion.
So now, basically, since United States stopped giving money allegedly to Ukraine because he don't want to look like a sellout to his cousin Russia, Ukraine has went over to NATO. That's who went to NATO too. Yeah, Ukraine and China. Yeah, it was those two. Now my mind getting back to me. It was those two. China just went and had some talks with United Nations. Here we go. So yeah, that's what Zelensky is doing. And I hear somebody in there like, yeah, money is lining Zelensky's pocket, and basically he's just spending it frivolously. I can't verify that, but I'm gonna look into it because I heard some real shady stuff about him and his intentions and being connected to maybe Israel. Yep. And the Ashkenazi Jews. I'm whispering so I don't get in trouble, but you know what I'm talking about. I heard of that too, but then conspiracy. So I listen to things with a grain of salt, and then when it becomes repetitive from different type of stories that put together, and then the facts come in, that's why I be like, yep, they done did it. I don't put it past nobody.
The war would have never happened if I were president. Would have never, not even a million years. And Putin knows that too. Would have never happened. But it did happen, and I came in, and I have to see if I can put it out. But it doesn't affect us because we're not losing soldiers there. Although, when I first came in, that could have ended up, it's not going to happen, but it could have ended up in World War III. That was really out of control. So now it's, they're shooting and they're killing people, and I think Putin wants it to end, and I think Zelensky wants it to end, and I think it's going to end.
We talked with Marco Rubio in great detail yesterday in accordance to the agreement reached by our presidents on October 16th during their phone call. We confirmed our determination to move forward in accordance with the agreements reached by Presidents Putin and Trump in Alaska and during their phone contacts. Rubio and I discussed how the situation looks like at the moment and how we can prepare a variant of another meeting agreed by the presidents of Russia and USA in principle. The meeting that the American president proposed to hold in Budapest. The main thing is not where or when. The main thing is how we practically move ahead with the tasks agreed upon in principle in Anchorage. We agreed to continue these phone contacts to better understand where we are and how to move ahead in the right direction.
Nowhere. They're nowhere. Thank you, Anthony.
I was surprised to read
Appreciate
today
you.
that, according to CNN, the Putin-Trump meeting might be postponed because after my yesterday's call with Marco Rubio, I will quote, U.S. official concluded that the Russian position has hardly changed recently and is still in line with its initial maximalist demands.
Thank you. Let's stop right here. What is he about to say? Dishonesty? Y'all want to finish listening?
Most Western media is notorious.
CNN Except for
is
me.
not an exception. I want to officially confirm it. Russia has not changed its position compared to the concepts reached during the lengthy Putin and Trump talks in Alaska. These concepts are based on understanding reached there and then. The one that President Trump voiced pretty neatly when he said that we need lasting and sustainable peace, not the immediate ceasefire that will lead to nothing. We stay completely true to this formula. And I confirmed it yesterday talking to Marco Rubio.
So we're going to put this up there. So basically what we have talked about through this video is that Russia has the Russian president have a different agenda when it comes to his leadership and why he's doing what he's doing. I think he's just to the point that he's no turning back. Unless you give this land back to me and you don't try to control our import and exports, there's nothing we can do. My terms have been the same. Unlike with our president, is based on who his relationship is, what's gonna, benefit him and his allies or himself, and that's just the truth. That's why they're never gonna be able to negotiate on the same terms or anything, because the initial agendas are not the same, and that's not fairness, to stop war, to not just be the peacekeeper and the Superman, because that's what Trump is trying to be at this particular time. So Russia's not moving. They're still bombing Ukraine. We spend hundreds of millions of dollars supplying Ukraine for over 4 years. And I will highlight like this. I don't blame the Democrats for this. And I'm not a Democrat or Republican. This is a biblical war. This is a war of the land. This is it goes back longer than me and you. I'm 40 years old. So for him to blame the Democrats, again, political nonsense, just to keep us fighting against each other. We have nothing to do with this, just like what's going on in Ukraine and Palestine and the Gaza Strip. That is biblical as well. And here go Trump trying to be, shut up, y'all, Antichrist-like, talking about, that's what the Antichrist did in the Bible. He came and tried to be the peacekeeper, did things that allegedly could not be done. Go look at it. And that's what Trump is trying to do. He's the Antichrist. Shut up, y'all. Putin sends rapid fire warning to Trump, Zelensky over Tomahawks after U.S. defense missile was snubbed. What? So they're saying we have no boots on the ground, but U.S. missiles, maybe those are the missiles that they already gave Zelensky. That's our boots on the ground. That's enough for me. Let's just hear a little bit of what Russia has to say. This is what's going on. This is in the last 24 hours. So anything I'm sharing as of now is we're up to date. We're 15 hours in. So y'all should have an idea kind of what's going on. And then we're going to get into Russia and China relationship going to astray. Okay, if it go over 1 hour and 20 minutes, we're going to do a part 2, because we got to get into what's happening with Russia and China, because the girls are fighting these cousins, kissing cousins.
As for the economic side, I repeat once again, there is nothing good or pleasant here. But if we look objectively and professionally at the economic side of these sanctions, what do we see? Currently, the United States produces about 13.5 million barrels of oil per day, ranking first, followed by Saudi Arabia with about 10 million barrels, and the Russian Federation in third place with about 9.5 million barrels per day. But the US consumes 20 million. They sell some and buy even more, mainly.
So we don't even make as much oil that we actually use, which makes us more dependent. Putin is doing this to show our weaknesses. He know that Trump watched this shit and Trump be mad. Like, is it really this true? Is it true? That's why they doing this. But basically, I'm going to let y'all watch this full, because I don't want to drag this live on, because I still have some more to show y'all. But Putin sends rapid fire warning to Trump and Zelensky over Tomahawk after U.S. defense missile snub. So I'm going to put this at the bottom so you guys can watch it in detail of what has happened. But Putin said, oh, more sanctions? 2 thumbs up. Look, I'm putting that up, but you know what that is. He don't care, because they look at this as life and death, as though, listen, if we put our borders into the hands of NATO, we lost control of our region, period. And China is not going to totally turn their back on Russia, because they share that same peninsula. They border Moscow and Beijing. You see what I'm saying? So if Russia is affected, China will. So China's fighting right now, feel some way, because I'm gonna tell you what's going on with them. But I don't think they're totally gonna, leave them. Let's play this real quick. They're not gonna leave their cousins. That's the cousins that stick together. Watch that. They stick together.
Has always been that
Can you hear this?
It was appropriate and necessary.
Sorry, it's low.
Yesterday was that day. I think the president has also long expressed his frustration with Vladimir Putin and frankly both sides of this war. And he's always said in order to negotiate a good peace deal, both sides need to be interested in a good peace deal. And he feels as though, unfortunately, from the Russian side as of late, he has not seen enough interest and enough action in terms of moving the ball forward towards peace. And so a meeting between these two leaders is not completely off the table. I think the president and the entire administration hopes that one day that can happen again. But we want to make sure that there's a tangible, positive outcome out of that meeting and that it's a good use of the president's time. Of course, he's traveling to next week.
He said use good use of his time.
He's been incredibly busy, as you all know. You're all tired from covering him and his movements every day. And so we want to make sure it's a good use of the president's time. And the president doesn't want to waste his time.
So now he's seeing that no tangible items is coming out of this meeting, and now he has to put pressure on his little cousin and sanction him more. As we see, that may not affect Russia because they have oil reserves, they have gold-backed currency with China, but this is the issue too.
Is there a way to get that LLC next to your business?
Basically, China and Russia has a jealous relationship with each other. So we're going to get to that because I don't want to dwell on the Russia-Trump thing. I broke it down a lot. We got a good understanding. And thank you to the audience who understand my plight, where I just love to talk and bring real information out. Things that's factual so we can really make a good decision because, again, I'm a separatist. I'm not a Democrat or Republican. I'm a Hebrew woman, and the only army I am part of is my Lord and Savior, Yeshua, which I know as Jesus Christ. That's the only army I'm about, baby. I'm not beat because when he come to reign, I'm trying to be there. These people ain't going to be here. These people ain't going to be here. So now, Trump... Now, I'm not saying what he's doing to China is like off because it's always China, China, China. He hates them little cousins. And now he's putting more sanctions on China. I'm not understanding. But I think if he sanctioned China, he thinks that's going to affect Russia because China and Russia has oil companies and rigs together and the currency. So I think this is why he's ramping it up with China. Because I'm like, come on, what the hell? You messing with them again? Let's go. Now this makes a little sense to me.
In Beijing, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs
So this
convened a regular
Beijing.
press briefing where spokesperson Guo Jiakun was asked about the latest wave of US sanctions targeting Russia's oil sector. His response was clear, calm and deliberate. The kind of phrasing that diplomats use when they intend to send a firm message without raising their voice. China consistently opposes unilateral sanctions that are not based on international law and are not authorized by the United Nations Security Council, Guo said. Behind that sentence lies an increasingly tense global standoff. Washington's new restrictions are aimed at further isolating Moscow's energy export.
See, yes, it's Moscow. You see Moscow and Beijing border each other. So even if they start fighting, they have to work together. Okay? Let's listen. Oh, my God. Just a few more minutes in. I'm going to let y'all watch all of this. This is Crossworld News. Y'all like, what? She all over the place, Jess. Guys, I got a dope VPN. And I don't know. You know, once you like stuff and the algorithm know that you kind of into it, it just sends you what it is. So I get a robust amount of information. And that's why I think it's important for me to share it with my American family. You know what I'm saying? Because we are family. We have to understand what's going on from all perspectives. So I'm glad to be here, and thank you to the audience and members that can see what's happening right here. I will get to y'all comments because we're getting to the end of this, but we're going to just establish kind of what's going on with China's relationship with USA and Ukraine. It's a little, something going on, guys.
That keeps Russia's war effort in Ukraine running. The US Treasury has expanded its blacklist of tankers, brokers, and shipping networks that help move Russian crude around the world, tightening what officials call a pressure campaign to erode Moscow's revenues. But from Beijing's perspective, this kind of economic weaponization undermines the very foundations of international order. Inside China's foreign ministry, officials have
Now remember, guys, you know what we kind of highlight here? International law. We're going to get to it in the order of it. We got to pay attention because I think eventually Trump is going to be found guilty for war crimes in the Hague Convention. Now, like I told you, I mentioned that before. That don't mean he's gonna be arrested on American soil, but it's just certain places he cannot go internationally because there's a warrant. Just like it's a warrant for Netanyahu now for his war crimes against Gaza. I will put that at the bottom, and I'll put the Hague Convention YouTube page. Because they got one too, just like the CDC, just like the FBI. So if y'all see that page and think it's not real, that motherfucker real. I'll be watching the court things. I'll be like, oh, all right, guilty. When they going to jail? Well, once they come to international orders and anywhere where the Hague Convention has their power. So look up the Hague Convention that was established in 2020 and what their powers are, because we're going to get into that. Because all these motherfuckers need to go to jail. All these world leaders lock his ass up because they not thinking about us. They ain't thinking about us. You know what it is. Hit the like button. So I want y'all to watch this. We're just gonna watch 1 minute of it. It's cross world news. Y'all probably never heard of it a day in your life, but it will be in the description. So now let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. Let's talk about this while we get the next clip together. China relationship, trade relationship with Trump. China blames Biden and Obama for
China's
the.
a little bit different.
Hold on, this is him. This is
different relation.
Shut up, yo. Shut up. They like, we ain't talking. Hold up. Everything was running at the same time. Hit the like button.
China's a little bit different, a little bit different relationship they have with Russia. It was never good, but because of Biden and Obama, they got forced together.
That's a lie.
They should never have been forced together, but they're a little bit forced. But they're by nature, they can't be friendly.
Now, the only reason why I will say maybe because of the Democrats and Republican too, they want to be part of NATO. And what Russia paid attention to over the last decade was NATO building this alliance, and basically people thinking that NATO is the foundation of the New World Order. That's what they think NATO is. Put it together. Put that motherfucker together. So when Trump was saying we don't want to be part of NATO when he first came in, before you had the MAGA like, yeah, sovereign American, no New World Order. Let's put that together. And now you have that same entity still playing a role, coming back to help Ukraine capture that land, and then China doing something. China doing something. China playing both sides. China don't give a damn. China like, whoever get this, I'm still going to be on top, because that the currency that they have established with Russia, it's more China. It's Chinese-based currency. Yeah, China has a heads over on Russia, and that's why Putin ain't beat. He kind of jealous of China. We almost coming to an end. I hope it's making sense, guys.
Can't be by nature. I hope they are friendly, frankly, but they can't be. You should not have forced Russia and China together. And Biden did that, and Obama did that. They forced them together because of energy, because of oil, and so they are closer than they would normally be. I think I'll probably be talking about it. What I'll really be talking to them about is how do we end the war with Russia and Ukraine? Whether it's
actually, he's not telling the truth, because they actually established a new currency into his first presidency after all of those sanctions. I'm just keeping it real. And they was like, fuck this. We're not about to be dependent on American oil. We about to have our own oil-based currency, selling it to people, and have our money based on gold. So I don't think that was totally the truth, but I'll go research it and verify, y'all. Y'all let me know, when did they establish this true kin bond? And I believe it was through his first presidency. But let's just read this real quick as we start to come to an end. The relationship and trade with China. Trump current relationship with China is dominated by an escalating trade war and the prospect of an upcoming meeting with President Xi Jinping, no disrespect, at the APEC summit on South Korea. He has threatened to impose additional 100% tariff on all Chinese imports if the trade deal is not reached, and move that has put pressure on the Southeast Asian nations as well. Now, my thing is that these sanctions, who pay for the sanctions? That's why I'm like, okay, they were all playing with us. We pay for the fucking sanctions, excuse my language. When we order it in, we pay for that tariff on imports. We pay for it. They don't prepay for it and send it to us. That's why I ain't beat for tariffs, because the tariffs is just like terror. Just don't need to be around, always causing a damn problem. Tensions increase after China expand restrictions on rare earth minerals export, to which Trump responds with a tariff threat and consider export controls in U.S. software. So that is some of the power that China's have, because they make a lot of our electronics, and they have some minerals that we use in our electronics, i.e. other countries too, like Ukraine and Haiti. That's why America be trying to put their hand on everywhere, because it's about resources and minerals. It's not really about helping. It's really not. I'm just keeping it real. And despite the aggressive trade tactics, Trump have expressed optimism after reaching a fantastic deal. They even lie here on AI. And has basically stated that he has a great relationship with Jing. How? See, that sounds like some Southside Chicago politics shit. What? You good with Jing, but you ain't good with his partner. But then his partner is about to help these people, Venezuela. No, the person you like, which is China, is thinking about helping Venezuela because you attacking their boats illegally in international waters. And now we're going to make it make sense. Why? Okay, let's get to it. We about to get to the end, y'all. Y'all didn't even know what was happening. I'm such a geek. I love putting this shit together. It's like putting in a nursing report. I'd be like, what is going on in this system? The system is sick. Now, what's happening now, between me and you, why China is starting to tick their nose into what Trump is doing in the sea is because one of the issues between China and Russia, and China with a whole bunch of other countries, is China be making land. They go out into the sea and they'll make a land out of sand and shit. And all of a sudden, in a couple of months, you'll see a whole land that say on the map that have a Chinese name. Or they'll just rename shit. Go look it up. China been tripping. They've been tripping because they feel like when the time when the people were colonizing, you know, after slavery, around slavery, you know, all that time when we were just nothing, they had treaty deals put together amongst the nation, which excluded Haiti. Shut up. And kind of, can I say, when China was at the negotiation table, they didn't have a strong foot. So now you have them having more foot as far as economic trade. Now they want more land. They want their shit. They want to be able. So that's kind of what I'm thinking happening behind China, and why they having relationship with issues with almost everybody, especially in the Caribbean Sea, because these niggas making land. Just they innovative, plastic vegetables, cabbage, and fake land. I'm just keeping it real. So this is kind of the issues with them in Russia, because they have did this to Russia. They still have negotiate issues. But again, if you have Trump that's out there in the Caribbean Sea, out there in the open sea, shooting boats that may or may not be Venezuelan terrorist, drug lord, does all these conversations make sense now? We building this up. They may make a mistake and hit China boats. They may, China got drugs going on too. They sending drugs out on the boats too. So they, drug game too. You understand what's going on here? So China like, because I definitely know China plays a role in marijuana game. There was this guy, and I'm just getting a little distracted, and he's a pastor, and I'm gonna put him down. He's on YouTube. He's amazing. He goes out in the streets and really brings Jesus into people's lives. But before that, he changed his life. He used to be in the army, and he used to be a drug dealer. He's from Jersey, all the North areas. Like, this was a dope ass story before he gave himself to God. But in that little part of the story, basically, he said one of his biggest drug pickup was in Mexico in his full army uniform from Chinese marijuana warlords. They not warlords. Y'all know they call them warlords. I promise you. I'm going to put that video at the bottom of this because that is a very interesting video. Not only you'll see the corruption in our system as he was an army man, but also you'll see how he changed his life and gave his sword to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And now he has his own YouTube page where he goes out, he does his thing. I think y'all know what I'm talking about. He even talked about doing voodoo with and seeing Beyonce's sister at the shop. Now y'all like, damn, she know too much, but I just gotta throw that in there, okay? So there is some validity that China running drugs in the United States through Mexico. Because we're going to, part two is this, we're going to talk about China full-fledged migration scheme that got them here, legally illegal, where they had storefronts when they got here. They was able to have these identities and tax breaks in the black community. Grace, you about to start talking about that? You know what the hell I'm talking about. Now, I know I said a lot, but it made sense. Go look it up. Now, let's go look at this. Now, this is the reason why China may be helping Venezuela because of those issues. I know I said a mouthful, but baby, that's what's happening. Look at this, y'all. Look at this. Russia and China continue to naval drill in the Sea of Japan. They're drilling out there together, China and Russia, and into Japan Sea. Because China don't give a damn. China do what they want to do. So I'm just showing y'all more examples of this. So not only is China going to do wild stuff and just drill and whatever, Russia with their asses too. So this is what's going on in the international waters. Let's keep this broadcast going. We almost done, guys. We're making our way downtown. I knew this was going to be heavy today, but I had to do it. Because we don't need to be out here protesting, arguing with people about shit that we don't know about. Before you go run your mouth, you better act like your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and shut your mouth and know what you talk about. Move wisely. China-Russia trade booms in border towns. So this is a little bit more. I'm not going to show y'all that. I can show y'all in the description, but this is basically the border situation with China and Russia, so y'all can get a visual look. Well, that's a map. Hold on. Hold on. This is telling you about the border relationship between them, so you can know I'm not lying. Hold on, y'all. Please let me be able to stream in my I think in 6 months I'll be able to stream in my studio consistently. Once y'all hit the like button and like what I do. Okay? I know Brad said I do not. I know, because you probably don't like the truth. But you here for it, baby. Come on, counteract what I'm saying with some truth. You know what I'm saying? But you're welcome. Let's play this. Hit the like button if you like me, if you don't.
$45 billion last year.
Hold on. This is their border stuff.
Let's go. 出发.
Every to a Chinese town on the border with Russia to find out more.
Tucked away in China's northeastern corner, the county of Ceisefire is home to 2 border crossings into Russia. Every day, over 1,000 people make the journey either way.
Everyone here in this town speaks Russian, so it's really easy to communicate.
More clothes.
You see how close they are?
More chance for shopping, more than in Russia.
I come from Vladivostok, and China has always helped us in difficult times.
Situated on the border with Russia's far east and on the edge of one of China's poorest provinces, Ceisefire was once a sleepy town. Now, growing trade between the two neighbors has provided major business opportunities. This Chinese company owns the logging rights to 870,000 hectares of Russian land.
Our logs come from our own forests in Russia. Then, in the production process, they're transformed from logs to boards to sawn timber, followed by drying. Then they're transported to China and sent to our processing plant to produce floorboards.
All right, so I just wanted you guys to see in real time the relationships that they have. It's not all of just what I talked about. They got business together. They're helping each other's, communities that may be privatized. And I kind of smiled a little bit because, I'm a goodie. I love when people work together. Not to use it for bad against us and other people, but that's what the heck we supposed to do. You would never think imagine a Chinese person and a Russian person standing next to each other, completely different. Fucking helping each other, excuse my language. The not United States. Shit, get it together. These states right next to each other can't even agree on the same damn thing. Okay, y'all, I'm almost done. Love you guys. Please hit the like button. We're starting to wrap this up. I do pray that you guys got a better understanding of all of these crazy dynamics. We did a little bit of history, a little bit of biblical. I didn't even get into biblical stories yet, but I can add some. I'm just trying not to bore you guys. but also just a timeline of what's going on so we can understand. We don't know what the hell to expect, dog. I was like, so we can know what to expect. I was about to say that as a nurse, like, you gotta know this so you can know what to expect. The way shit going, the way the cousins be fighting, we don't know what the hell going on. But what I will say is what we should not be doing, and I'm gonna start to stress this, is that we gotta stop taking to the streets and protesting here in America. Honestly, we have to find a new way to fight what's going on, and I think that's paper to pen, guerrilla warfare, because if we keep going to the streets, they're going to use it against us. They use the visual, they use inciting people who incite the crowd. The police is becoming more hostile because it's like a them, us. They're really getting brainwashed. So I think that we have to approach this different. Just to do a little infomercial, okay, guys? China moved towards ending oil trade with Russia in huge blow to Putin. The girls are fighting. I say all of that and look at this shit. That's why I said we don't know what to expect because they all stupid. They all full of shit. Excuse me, y'all. I had to say it. Just full of shit. Sorry.
He's already
God forgive me.
Seemingly convinced the
Full
Indians,
of
or he
crap.
says he has, to kind of stop buying Russian oil. The second, part of that diplomacy is to get the Chinese to do the same. So, in the context of the Ukraine war, it may feel far away, but the meeting with Xi in China is going to be really important.
What's going on in America? Well, a lot happening in America. Also, by the way, in Brussels now, where they're talking about helping out Ukraine by taking billions, hundreds of billions of Russian assets and using those as the basis for a loan to Ukraine. That's going on now. It may go on late into the night, but
they so disrespectful. You heard what he said? Like, sometimes they do business deals and they trade assets and have things and bond it. Trump like, man, I'm going to liquidate that and give it to Ukraine. They so stupid. This is, okay, y'all, let's just finish this, okay? Russia and China having issues. Hold on. Let me see. I want to get to the part where we hear U.S. sanctions. Hold on, y'all. Just wanted to hear a little bit more from this. This is Time Radio. I like this guy a little bit.
I mean, one of the interesting things is he's going to meet with Xi, the Chinese leader, next week in South Korea. And there have been suggestions that he's going to say to the Chinese, stop buying the oil.
Yeah.
And he's already said to the Indians,
how you going to
stop
tell
buying the
China
oil.
to
Now,
stop buying
those
oil?
are really the main customers now.
For sure.
And if they were to feel pressured into shutting down, then that would be really, really significant.
And that's exactly what I was going to end off with when I was giving y'all information. Basically, the role in the Ukraine conflict right now is Trump has stated that he wants China President Xi Jinping, sorry y'all, to use his big influence on Putin to help broker a ceasefire in Ukraine. The recent U.S. sanctions have also prompted Chinese state-run firms to suspend purchasing to seaborne Russia oil. See, prompted, they didn't do it yet. So we're going to close off with this last bit of information because it's probably going to bridge us into just talking about China. Yep. China is going to kick natural ass. I'm sorry, y'all. I just look at things differently, for what it is. We got to be prepared. We're not even ready for North Korea, Chinese population, or Russia. When I say prepared, mentally, spiritually, and physically. Physically, we're all divided. Mentally, we have not pushed the educational system here in America, the, how can I say, ethical values that we need to be united to get us to the next, to have that momentum. Even if we all were separate but equal, but we knew, like, boom, we gotta stick together no matter what the hell going on. Fuck your politics, this politics. Have that moral foundation, it would get us somewhere. But we don't even have that shit. Okay? America divided. We're talking about this because hopefully we can circumvent it. I am not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a fear mongerer. I can prophesy some things. Shout out to my mom. You've been watching me in action. But what I have promised that I was going to do on my platform to the Most High Yah, our Lord and Savior, all praises to him, that I will not prophesize death onto the people, but I will talk about what's going on and effective ways we can handle it. And once we talk about it in real time and for what it is, we can handle it emotionally correctly. And then critically, we can actually approach it better. Okay? So Vladimir Putin says Russia is a bit jealous of China. And we're going to end there because it's a reason why. We're going to talk about China, how they got their migrants here, not today, because they be thinking. That's why I used to call myself the Black Chinese. I just keep it real. You gonna read a book. You said you was bored. This is my kids I homeschool. You said you was bored. They couldn't use that word. My son closed the door just now, like, oh damn. Yup, you're gonna read a book. You wanna go to the park? Spell it. So I just know that Chinese people think very different from us, and this is why even the militant Vladimir Putin is jealous of China. There you go.
Рад возможности уже лично поздравить вас с переизбранием на пост главы китайского государства. Это стало возможным благодаря тому, что китайский народ и его представители по достоинству оценили вашу работу.
Oh, I posted Reddit to y'all. Hold on. I posted Reddit to y'all. Let me read it to y'all. Want me to read it? Let me read it. I'm like, oh snap, they didn't want to speak English. Speak English! I'm gonna sound like white people. I'm sorry. Okay. It says, on the re-election as the head of the Chinese state, it has become possible thanks to the fact that the Chinese people and its representative appreciate over the last 4 years China has made, hold on, my server's breaking up, its strives and developments and have touched the whole world and the genuine interests, and we're a bit jealous. China attached to it great information and technology, Russia and China relationships, this is China response, and there is a historical reason behind this because we are all each other's biggest neighboring countries. So China like, okay, I'm not even going to acknowledge that you pretty much a little jealous of me, but I just want to tell you you're important to us, and we're going to end up working together regardless. So with that goes to say we've been here for over an hour and 20 minutes. If you like what Miss Grace does in the morning and you like how I break it down, please hit the like button. Again, we're fighting the algorithm. Someone was like, well, the algorithm put you on my For You page. Thank you, Jesus, because that's the power of prayer and fasting. Because I've been gang stalked, verbally attacked, videos made about me, my page, it was so much. And you said it was on the For You page. And that is my testimony to my mods and to the people who watch me, that when God has a plan for you, he ain't going to stop. He might pull you down to the bottom, because I'm here just streaming on my phone when I have streaming equipment. But I said, whatever you want me to do, God, I ain't going to let them shut my damn mouth. I'm here for it. So if you like what I do, hit the like button. I love you. And I may get to some of your comments. If you have not served in the Army from form of military, you will feel unprotected, unprepared. Yes, and that's some of the things we may talk about, just getting prepared. But I will say this on this note. I'm going to read that last one. Guys, don't feel unprepared. We all are part of the body of Christ. We are all part of the body of this nation. Even myself, you know, I'm not a fighter, physical fighter. I used to be back in the day, but I don't have that, you know. We got to work out, keep ourselves together. And many of us don't, but you have skills, you have things that you can add to the collective unity of growth. And that's one of the things I teach my son and taught my daughter through homeschool. Whatever y'all choose to do, make sure that it's not only for fun, but it's something that we can use to actually survive when the lights go off. So if you're a healthcare provider, if you're a teacher, if you're a cooker, if you are a minister of love, support, whatever you do, you orchestrate events, this is all important, but it's all about the intent. Keep it in mind. You can have all of these skills because as human beings, we are blessed, but it's what you are filled of and what you use it for. And here, what we doing is making sure that we here when our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, come to reign. We don't care about none of them people, but we're going to figure out what's going on. And we're going to pray for their salvation. So with that, it goes to say, I will see y'all on Monday night. I'm going to come on 7 o'clock, and I'm going to stream on my streaming equipment. And that's where we're going to be talking about China, China, China. like the history of China and no, we're not gonna do a history of China and Ukraine relationship. I think what we're gonna do is just show you guys how the Chinese nationals got here, the intrinsic paths that they took, how much money they took, how they got businesses here, and now why they're being run down by ICE, allegedly connected to sex trafficking. Yeah, shit is getting deep. So have a great day, and I'll see you guys on Monday. Hit the like button, please.